welcome back to another episode of The Ring's Edge. My name is Sarah, and I will be your host. This week we're going to be talking about May 1st through the 6th, so covering this past week that just happened. Just some programming notes that have come up in the last week or so. There is no more Dark and Dark Elevation for AEW. The YouTube show has been canceled as of right now, with the rumored possibility of AEW Collision coming to Saturday nights on either TBS or TNT. I can't remember off the top of my head. But with Collision starting, they have decided to cancel the Darks for now. Because they will be they usually tape them before Dynamite on Wednesdays, but right now they've kind of just put a halt to them. And the second programming note that I want to just address really quickly is we're starting out with May 1st, which was night 2 of the draft, and I will be making a separate video of all of the draft picks, so I'm going to skip them for the week, for the evenings, for Raw and SmackDown, because I'm going to cover them separately. So I'm just going to say, this is how, we had the first round, this, that, and everything else. So let's get started. So Monday Night Raw on the 1st is your night 2 of the draft, and we are just 5 nights away from Backlash. And we start out with reviewing some of the draft picks from Friday night. Triple H then comes out and announces the rules before he does the first set of draft picks. He also says that Brock Lesnar is not eligible for the draft, and he is a free agent and can appear on either brand. Then we have the first round of the draft. After that, Paul Heyman is in the ring. He talks about Roman Reigns, the draft, Backlash, and the new championship. Seth Rollins interrupts. Rollins, of course, pisses off Heyman with the crowd singing his song, which is so much fun. Rollins says that he knows that Heyman has been stopping him from getting his rematch against Reigns. Heyman then takes a call from Reigns in the ring. Heyman tells Rollins that he's pissing Roman Reigns off, which of course Rollins doesn't care. Rollins threatens to stomp Heyman's head into the mat, but Solo Sikoa comes out. Heyman says that Reigns is pulling all strings to get Sikoa versus Rollins tonight, and Rollins accepts the challenge. Your first match of the night is a women's tag team match with Bayley and Dakota Kai versus Raquel and Liv Morgan. This is not for the titles. This is just a matchup for a possible contendership down the way, with your winners coming out on top with Bayley and Dakota Kai. We see what happened the last time Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar were in the same building together, with Brock attacking Cody. We then have the second round of picks. Your second match of the night is Ricochet and Braun Strowman versus the Alpha Academy. Your winners are Ricochet and Braun Strowman. I'm really enjoying this tag team of Ricochet and Braun Strowman lately. They kind of just have their own... They have chemistry, we'll put it that way. Because Ricochet has his high flying and can do the aerial stuff, whereas Braun Strowman can't necessarily do them. I mean, he tries, but he can't. So you kind of have the best of both worlds with that tag team. I hope they come up with a name for them, because I personally would like to see them go after the championships eventually, because they're not that bad. And Ricochet and Braun Strowman pick up that win. We return to where Judgment Day starts they're feuding with Bad Bunny. And Bunny told us last week that he is taking on Damian Priest in a street fight at Backlash. We then have the third round of picks. And then Brock Lesnar interrupts before the next round of picks. Adam Pearce and security try to get Lesnar out of the ring. Rhodes attacks Lesnar from behind before security separates them. We then have the fourth round of picks. Your third match of the night is Matt Riddle versus Jimmy Uso, with Matt Riddle coming out on top. Then we have a special episode of Miz TV with special guest Shinsuke Nakamura. They talk the new championship. Miz wants to partner with Nakamura, but Nakamura refuses and attacks The Miz. Your fourth match of the night is Omos versus Anthony Atlantic, with your winner coming out as Omos. And then we have the fifth round of picks. Then Judgment Day comes out and talks Backlash, Bad Bunny, and Zelina Vega. LWO comes out and they talk trash. Your fifth match of the night is a mixed 6-person match with LWO versus Judgment Day, with your winners being Judgment Day. Your sixth round of results, or 6th round of picks, are here before your 6th match, which is Solo Sikoa versus Seth Rollins, with Seth Rollins coming out on top via disqualification. The Usos caused the disqualification, and Zayn, Owens, and Riddle then come out to help Rollins. And then we have more picks on Raw Talk after the show. So that concludes Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry. Again, I'm looking at my iPad because it has my results on it. It's just easier to look it up that way. So let's talk Dynamite from the 3rd. Your first match of the night is an 8-man tag team match with Orange Cassidy, Bandito, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole versus Jericho Appreciation Society. Your winners are Orange Cassidy, Bandito, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole. Now, I'm kind of liking these 4 as a team. And when I say these 4, I'm meaning Cassidy, Bandito, Strong, and Cole. We already know Strong and Cole have a background together with being a tag team, and all that, the situation down with NXT. But usually when we're seeing Orange Cassidy, normally we're seeing him, defending the International Championship, or he's with the Best Friends, and Danhausen. So we don't get to see him often outside of those people. So it's interesting to see him with Bandito. I would love for them to form a tag team. My personal opinion. I just think that they are a good team. Jericho is on commentary, of course, because it's Jericho. And Cole attacks Jericho after the match. Jericho has Cole escorted out of the arena. And as Britt Baker sees this going down, she comes up and she slaps Jericho. Blackpool Combat Club talks the Elite. And Moxley is taking on Omega in a steel cage match next week. That should be interesting. Second match is Saraya versus Willow Nightingale, with Saraya being the winner. But then the Outcasts attack Willow Nightingale after the match. Hikaru Shida returns. She fakes out the Outcasts into thinking that she's going to join them. But Baker and Jamie Hayter come from behind. And then Shida spray paints AEW on the Outcasts. So it's nice to see somebody joining forces with Baker and Hayter, with Rebel being out. And it's kind of, I feel like it'll come down to eventually being the Outcasts versus the AEW Originals. So that'll be interesting. Your third match of the night is a Trios Battle Royal. Now, this Battle Royal is going to determine the new number one contenders for the Trios Championships. And in order for this this match taking place, all three members must be eliminated in order for the team to be eliminated from the match. So you can still have 2 or 1 person in there for your team and still be eligible to win. So we have the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus Dark Order versus QTV versus the Butcher, the Blade, and Kip Sabian versus Penta El Zero Miedo, Rey Fenix, and Alejandro, I'm pronouncing that wrong, Del Vikingo versus the Varsity Athletes. So your eliminations for the match is Ari Daivari, Evil Uno, Tony Nese, Josh Woods, Alex Reynolds, QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, Rey Fenix, Penta Azero, Vikingo, Powerhouse Hobbs, Max Caster, John Silver, The Blade, The Butcher, Kip Sabian, with your winners coming out as the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. And that is the order of the eliminations and how they were eliminated from the match. Your fourth match of the night was Wardlow versus Logan LaRue, with Wardlow coming out on top. Wardlow then calls out Luchasaurus. Christian Cage and Luchasaurus come out. And Cage says that the title shot isn't for Luchasaurus. It's for him. What? So down the road somewhere we're going to have Wardlow versus Christian Cage for the TNT Championship? That'll be interesting. Triple J and Sanjay Dutt go to Mark Briscoe's farm to help out. Papa Briscoe tells Mark to be careful with them. Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett then challenge for the Tag Team Championships at Double or Nothing against FTR, which we knew was going to happen. Your fifth match of the night is Juice Robertson versus Ricky Starks, with Ricky Starks coming up as the winner. After the match, Jay White attacks Starks. Your sixth match of the night is a 4 Pillars tag team match. Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Darby Allin versus MJF and Sammy Guevara. If MJF and Sammy Guevara win, the match at Double or Nothing will stay the way it is. If MJF and Guevara lose, then it will be a fatal 4-way. Well, MJF and Guevara lose. So it's going to be a fatal 4-way at Double or Nothing for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So that'll be interesting with the 4 Pillars. Let's talk Ring of Honor from the 4th. The first match of the night was Lee Moriarty versus Rocky Romero, with Rocky Romero winning via submission. The second match of the night was Athena versus Angelica Risk, with Athena winning via submission. Your third match of the night was for the TV Championship, Samoa Joe, who was the champion, versus Christopher Daniels, with Samoa Joe coming out on top. Your fourth match of the night was Claudio Castagnoli versus Robbie Eagles, with your winner as Claudio Castagnoli. Your fifth match of the night is a 10-man tag team match, which is the Kingdom and the Varsity Athletes versus Best Friends, Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and Stu Grayson. And your winners for that match are Best Friends, Action Andretti, Darius Martin, and Stu Grayson. Sixth match of the night was Preston Vance versus Rich Adonis, with Preston Vance coming out as the winner. Your seventh match of the night is Robin Renegade versus Sky Blue, with the winner being Sky Blue. Your eighth match of the night is Brian Cage versus Brock Anderson, with Brian Cage coming out on top. Your ninth match is Willow Nightingale versus Steph DeLander, with Willow Nightingale coming out on top. And your final match of the night is Angelico versus Commander, and Commander wins. Let's talk Rampage, because Rampage came before SmackDown again tonight, or Friday night. So the first match was Lucha Brothers and Vikingo versus QTV, with Lucha Brothers and Vikingo coming out on top. Your second match of the night was Jade Cargill versus Gia Scott, with Jade Cargill coming out on top. Your third match of the night was Mark Briscoe versus Preston Vance, with Mark Briscoe coming out on top. And your fourth match of the night was the final deletion, or the firm deletion, I should say, at the Hardy compound, with Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, and Hook versus the firm. And Matt Hardy, Jeff, Isaiah, and Hook come out with the win. Now, this, if you have seen any of Matt and Jeff's previous matches that they've had at the Hardy compound, oh my gosh, they are the most interesting matches I've ever seen, in my personal opinion. And it was even more interesting because with this one, you had the kids getting involved, Matt's kids getting involved. So you had King Maxwell, you had Wolfgang, I don't remember the third kid's name, Bartholomew, and then you had Gothic Baby getting involved. So freaking awesome. Like, of course, I loved this match just because I'm a fan of Matt and Jeff. The Friday Night SmackDown, where we are just one day, 24 hours before Backlash. The LWO starts out the show. They talk Backlash. Judgment Day interrupts. Dominic and Ray speak Spanish to one another. Ray wants a rematch against Dominic, but obviously that's not going to happen. Then Rhea Ripley comes forward and suggests a mixed tag team match tonight. Your first match of the night is the OC versus the Viking Raiders, with the OC coming out on top. Bianca Belair talks about SmackDown having a special place in her heart. Damage Control interrupts. Of course. Bayley says that they are going to take over SmackDown, with Io Sky becoming Women's Champion and Bayley and Dakota becoming the Women's Tag Team Champions. Now, obviously the draft picks and everything and the new rosters don't take effect until the Monday after Backlash. But how are they going to do with the women's championships? Are we switching like we did before with Charlotte and Becky, where they just switch the belts? Or what's going to happen? Because I haven't actually read anything about that. So if you have insight, feel free to pass it on, because I haven't heard anything. We returned to last week, where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn retained their championships against the Usos. And the Usos and Solo Sikoa talk about tomorrow night at Backlash, and that everyone better do their part. The second match of the night is the Street Profits versus Imperium, with the Street Profits coming out on top. Your third match of the night is Shinsuke Nakamura versus Karrion Kross, with your winner being Shinsuke. Your fourth match of the night is Zelina Vega and Rey Mysterio versus Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio, with Zelina Vega and Rey coming out on top. Judgment Day then comes out and attacks Rey after the match. LWO and Bad Bunny come out to help Rey to end the show. Let's talk Backlash. So Backlash from last night. Your kickoff panel, who are out of Stamford, Connecticut tonight, last night, is Matt Camp, Peter Rosenberg, and Jackie Redmond. Your first match of the night is the Raw Women's Championship, which is Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Now, this was an interesting match, if you were able to catch last night. If not, let's talk about it a little bit. This was a rather interesting match because the crowd pretty much turned on Bianca Belair. They were booing her the entire match. They were cheering for Io Sky. What was the reasoning? Now, there have been, I've seen rumors and stuff that, like, the universe is getting mad with Bianca keeping the championship and now being the longest women's champion in the modern times. So I'm not really sure. But Bianca Belair came out on top after a hard-fought match. Your second match, which was Seth Rollins and versus Omos. This was another interesting match just because when we found out about this match is the same time that Seth found out about this match. And we all know that Omos is like he's like 7'4". So how is Rollins going to take him out? Well, Rollins actually got pretty innovative with this, and to where Rollins got onto the top rope, and this is how he won the match. He got onto the top rope, and came down and delivered a stomp to Omos. Was able to turn him over and pick up the win. I thought that was rather innovative. Because I honestly wasn't sure how he was going to win either. So, your third match of the night is your triple threat match for the U.S. Championship. Now, I'm not going to... If you watched Raw and SmackDown of the draft and saw the results and everything about that we'll discuss in another video, you will have already seen that Imperium is taking the Intercontinental Championship to Raw, so the U.S. Championship is coming to SmackDown. So your only two superstars that could possibly win this championship in this match are Lashley and Theory, because they are on SmackDown. But you had Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed versus Austin Theory, with Theory coming out on top and winning. So he'll be taking the championship to SmackDown. Your fourth match of the night is your SmackDown Women's Championship match, which is Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. This was a hard-fought match. With this being a hometown girl situation with Zelina Vega being of Puerto Rican descent, of course her family was there, and they're cheering her on and everything. It was a hard-fought match, we'll put it that way. And I'm not particularly happy with the results, with Rhea coming out on top. But that's just me. And again, I say about how I said earlier, what are we doing with the women's championships? Because Rhea is going to be on Raw starting on Monday, and Bianca is on SmackDown. So are we exchanging titles? I don't know. Your fifth match of the night is your San Juan street fight. Damian Priest versus Bad Bunny. So, Priest is in the ring. He's wearing the same gear that he wore at WrestleMania 2 years ago when he teamed with Bad Bunny. But Bad Bunny comes out, and he's got some tricks up his sleeves. He comes down to the ring with a shopping cart full of toys. Toys being kendo sticks, chairs, trash can lids, like everything, every weapon. The rest of Judgment Day come out towards the end of the match to help Priest. Rey Mysterio then comes out because with a street fight, it's anything goes. So there's no disqualifications, no countouts. Rey Mysterio comes out and to help Bad Bunny, but the numbers game takes over. We then see a return from none other than Carlito. And if you've seen old school wrestling, you know who Carlito is. I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. I'm just saying. So he comes out to help Rey and Bad Bunny. And then Xavier Vega comes out. Along with the rest of LWO. And they attack Dominic and Balor in the entranceway. Now earlier in the night we saw Rey talking with Bad Bunny. And Xavier Vega talking with Bad Bunny, and Xavier gave Bad Bunny a custom made kendo stick with the Puerto Rican flag on it. So for the match, so it was nice to see that he came out to help. Your sixth match of the night is the Usos and Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Matt Riddle. Now, of course, I'm disappointed because I really wanted Zayn, Owens, and Riddle to win. But the Usos and Sikoa picked up the win. But we see more cracks forming in the bloodline. And when I say that, it's because Solo Sikoa grabbed Jay by the throat and was about to deliver the Samoan spike, but then didn't. So, what's going to happen? Is Solo going to turn on his brothers? Who knows? Your seventh match of the night and one of your main events is Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Now, during this matchup, we see Brock get busted open. He's bleeding profusely from a cut on his head. And a funny post that I read on Twitter this morning when I got on was of from Brandy Rose and saying that Cody is covered in blood, but it's not his. So if you've seen the pictures or if you watched last night, you saw the blood. Cody actually won that match with a roll-up because Brock had Cody in the Kimura? Is it the Kimura lock? Where he twists his arm back and is almost breaking his arm. Had him in that lock. And Rhodes was able to switch his body weight and get Brock Lesnar pinned. So the story continues. That is your last 2 weeks of wrestling. Now, I said it before that the only reason why I did it this way is because of the way that the draft was laid out. Come check out the next video, and we're going to be talking the draft and everything that went down with that. Check out all of our social medias down below. They're linked in the description, with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and the blog. If you have any suggestions that you would like me to do, hit me up on Facebook, all the platforms, or you can even email me at theringsedge06@gmail.com, and let me know what you want to see. But always know, we always take it to the ring's edge.